All right? If you require a car for whatever reason, the car is made available for you. When you get to your destination, the satellite system in a car should, we already have development, should be able to send that car off to the next person who needs it. As opposed to sitting in some parking lot, wasting time and space for likely 80% of its time. This is what we do now. It's because we have built our systems around this kind of ownership that we actually have individual access is a lot less. And we must realize how many resources will be saved, enabling access, abundance for all when we stop this destructive idea of everyone owning one of everything. Remember, property is this outgrowth of scarcity. The only reason we own things is because there might not be enough to go around. In fact, if you think about it, property is a huge burden. No longer will a person need to live in one place. One could travel the world constantly, getting what one needs as one moves along. Anything needed is obtained without restriction. We hoard things in our current system because we have houses full of junk, because we're afraid to get rid of it, because we know that they have some kind of monetary value. And again, there's no reason for this kind of abuse, for there's nothing to gain. You can't steal things in a society where there is open access to everything. So, perhaps you think that surpassing the monetary system is too radical, that it's pie in the sky, it's too futuristic. Well, you know what I think is radical? Designing and presiding over a system based on infinite growth and which relies upon inefficiency and duplicated effort and inferior throwaway products in a finite world. We have to sell more, buy more, and accrue more debt and produce more and more tons of waste in order for this system to function. Not only that, the successful function of the current system inherently means the few getting richer while the many get poor. Who will buy your products when there is so little work that the majority of humanity is unemployed? Who will use your services when the most of us are starving? Yet we cannot keep producing more and more in a world with ever-shrinking resources and limited societal development hamstrung by the need for every institution to preserve its status quo to begin with. That's the most radical thing I've ever heard of. It is demonstrably unsustainable. It is inhuman. In fact, it is anti-human. And while we hear this word unsustainable a lot, it's overused again and again by the media, let me remind you again what exactly it means. It means, in our global society, based on deliberate inefficiency, waste, pollution, and massive social stratification, the things we do right now will reach a point where it will not support human life the way we need it to. We must reorientate our structures to support the population we have already and which we are about to have. We are only successful in a society if we take a hard look at the only thing which has ever been important, and that is the survival of the entire species as a whole, and to align our operations within the necessary laws and balances that our nature requires. That's the true meaning of evolution. I refuse to live in a society like this. I refuse to sit on top of the top 10% of this world, standing by while billions of mirror images of myself suffer and die for no good reason other than profit and artificial boundaries. No longer will I like to quietly tolerate the suffering of almost all of the race that I'm the only race that I'm a member of, on the only planet in the known universe that I can presently inhabit. I do not accept that this is as good as it gets. This is as bad as it gets. We need to roundly reject this paralyzing, limiting, divisionary, fraudulent mess we laughingly refer to as economics. It is irrelevant and in fact in direct opposition to our survival, and it is stunting our staggering and subtle, fantastic, unlimited potential. I'm sorry, it'll have to go. You know, if you consider yourself forward-thinking, you'll have learned to be able to look back at the present from the future. The future population of this Earth can look back one day at our present tense and see one of two things. They could see that we recklessly destroyed ourselves and each other, or they can see that we made it. In the future, they are already looking at our living room, and I want them to see that we did make it. We have to make it.